Rapunzel. Gretel the witch simply hated her hair. It was purple, with hundreds of knots. And what made it worse was living next door to a girl who had long, golden locks. This girl, Rapunzel, had gold hair so long that people would stop just to stare. Gretel was jealous. She wanted a wig. So she thought, I'll steal the girl's hair. Now, Gretel liked to grow spinach and beans, which Rapunzel's mom hungrily spied. "Steal us some beans," she cried to her husband, who willingly ran straight outside. Just at the moment he heard a great pop, the witch appeared of the blue. "My prize vegetables, you will pay for this. I'll chop you into a stew," said the dad, turning pale. "Please spare my life," grinding the witch said. "I might. Give me your daughter, and I'll let you go." Shaking the dad said, "All right." Gretel was thrilled that the wig of her dreams was soon to be in her power. "I'll wait for the hair to grow longer," she thought, and locked the girl in a tower. With no tower door, Rapunzel would wait until 3 o'clock every day. That was hour when Gretel arrived and cleared her throat loudly to say, "Ahoy up there, let down your hair." Later, wait. Then Rapunzel threw down her very long plait and Gretel climbed up in a flash. She took out a ruler and measured the hair, then said with a smile, "I must dash." Oh yeah, that's Tita. Wait, Tita, I'll answer. Next, listen. One day Rapunzel felt so alone, she started to sing a sad song. As luck would have it, a charming young prince heard her as he walked along. He circled the tower where was the door. The walls were too high to climb. But at just that moment, Gretel appeared and shouted her usual rhyme, "Ahoy up there, let down your hair." "So that's how it's done," he thought to himself. And the next day, to Rapunzel's surprise, instead of the witch, the charming young prince appeared in front of her eyes. The prince came to visit the day after day, and everything was going fine till one afternoon when Gretel appeared in the tower at just the same time. Seeing the prince, she screamed out in rage, "Oh, you, get away from that hair!" She tried to push him out of the tower, but Rapunzel cried out, "Don't you dare!" Quickly Rapunzel cut off all her hair and said as glad as could be, "Here, have my braid, I'll take the prince," and with that Rapunzel was free. The pair were soon married or wore a hat, and to show they had no hard feelings, they invited a witch who wore a wig that was gold reached to the ceiling. The end. And next we have the story of Cinderella. Cinderella. Once a girl called Cinderella was locked up in a gloomy cellar by Eve and Val. Her jealous sisters next to her, they looked like blisters. Then one day an invitation was sent to each home in the nation. Billy Prince is looking to be wed. Come to the royal ball, it said. Who's I yelled Cinders, just a fella to free me from this gloomy cellar. Eve and Val declared, fat chance Jonah going to the dance. They locked her up with the ghastly grains and powdered both their slimy chins. Then they left and Cinders wept, but luckily just then in stepped a courgette fairy full of cheer. She said, I'm here to help, my dear. I'll get you to the ball tonight. With courgette tools of green and white, she brought out quite long and green. It turned into a limousine. Soon Cinders had a brand new dress and 2 shoes made of glass no less. That's the shoes. At midnight, said a fairy, flee, or a courgette you will be. So Cinders left in her new ride, with bright green, soggy seats inside, to the palace. In no time, she was at the palace. The prince looked lonely and embarrassed. He scolded, I'm hungry, I won't dance. Have you got snacks by any chance? Cinders knew just what to do. She said, I have a treat for you. Try my courgette limousine. The bright green scrumptious car canteen. After the snack of a courgette car, the pair felt happier by far, and so began to dance around, while even Val just watched and frowned. But soon the clock began to strike. There was no time to say good night. Cinders ran, but in her haste she left one shoe at Billy's place. Billy vowed, I'll search for you, the girl who fits this tiny shoe. But though the prince went far and wide, no girl could get her foot inside. Some tried tape and some tried glue. Some got angry at the shoe. Some greased up their feet with soap. One even tied her toes with rope. Grabe. Soon Billy got to Cinders' door, but she was locked downstairs once more. Eve and Val were there instead. Try the shoe, Billy Prince said. They each took turns trying and yelling. It fits, ignore the swilling. Does no one else lived here? Asked Billy. They shook their heads. No, don't be silly. Cinders knew what she should do. She picked up the glass shoe number 2. Then smashed it on a heavy rock and used the heel to pick the lock. She ran upstairs and cried out, Hey, I'll try that shoe on if I may. And without Cinders forcing it, the shoe slipped on the perfect fit. Not fit. The fit na F-I-T. Oh my gosh. Why is it like that? The prince proposed. She was delighted. Eve and Val were not invited. Ha ha ha. And though their feet got rather wet, the pair were wed in a courgette. Ayun. The And that's the story of Cinderella and Rapunzel. So please let us sleep now. Now let's read also the story of the Superbite. Superbite. It was the middle of the day, and Pat the Bat could not sleep. He was bored out of hanging around. Like a normal bat, he wanted to be special, like the superheroes in his favorite comics. Ilan ang bat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and their friends. And there's a spider. Ganun, no? Spider, spider. And then it hit him. Pow! Bat had a great idea and set to work. It was not easy using Mom's sewing machine, and his wings kept getting in the way. Keep the noise down. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Ratatat, ratatat. But after a couple of hours, his outfit was ready, and Pat became Superbat. When the other bats woke up, they were all surprised. "I'm Superbat," said Pat. "Wow," said his friend Eric. "So what are your superpowers?" "I have super hearing," boasted Pat. "So do we," his friends screeched. "Good point," muttered Pat. All the other bats gathered around to see Superbat. "Can you lift a car with your mighty muscles?" asked Eric. "Or shoot laser beams from your eyes?" added Freda. "Well, no," said Pat, his voice wobbling a bit. "But I can fly." He leaped into the air. "We can all fly," the other bats chuckled. "What else can you do?" Pat tried to think of another super skill. He felt like every bat in town was, staring at him. He was very nervous. "I have echolocation. Echolocation." "Yes, which means I can find my way in the dark. Just listen, please, Anak." "Ha ha ha ha," the bats all laughed. "That's nothing special. We can all do that too." Pat dragged off home. His wings dropped, his ears flopped. He did not feel special anymore. "I'm just a normal bat in a silly outfit," he sighed, trying not to cry. Just as Pat was about to rip off his suit and cape and threw them away, his supersonic hearing picked up a faint and cry, "Help!" On the other side of town, a big bad cat had trapped a family of mice. Pat's wings spread out, his ears perked up. He bravely flew across the city as fast as his little wings would carry him. Yun siya. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? I think it's a bat in a funny little costume. Pat swooped in like a blur of fur. The big bad cat took a swat, but he missed Superbat. Wham! Pat dived back down again and flipped his wings really fast and carried Maggie away. The mice were free. "You saved us," they cried. "Thank you, but who are you, a masked crusader?" Pat smiled modestly. "Me? I'm no one special." "Oh, yes, you are," cried his friends, who had followed Pat across town and seen his heroics. "And you do have a superpower, courage. You are a truly Superbat." As Pat flew back to the Bat Cave for a good day's sleep with his friends, his behind him all the way. He really did rather special. Okay, this is the last one. Grabs Paps. This is me. I'm Ruby. This is Grab. A very exciting thing is going to happen. Grab's going to be a dad. Can you believe it? I can't. Joe can't, and Grab definitely can't. Grab wants to play with Telly, but Telly doesn't want to play. It's all right for you, Grab, I say. At least you haven't got a tummy full of paps. But Telly has. Telly is enormous. Billy and I are having a guess how many paps competition. I guessed 5 and Billy guesses 10. Billy's mom says if it's that many, they will have to move house. Telly seems restless. I think she's finding the very exciting thing very unexciting. It's the Grablets. They are making Telly tired. Grab doesn't understand. He gives Telly his paw and makes snuffy noises. But Telly isn't interested. She flops on her side in the shade. I found Grab under my bed, snuggled up to Fluff and Snooky and Plod. I think he's lonely. I think he's missing his cuddles and playtime with Telly. Then there was a knock at the door. It was Billy. The very exciting thing had started to happen. We rushed round to Billy's house. We had to be very quiet and very still. It was hard. I'm not very good at being quiet. Then the puppies started to appear. 1, said Billy's mom. 2, said Billy's mom. 3, squealed Billy's mom, and we waited and waited and waited and waited, but nothing happened. So we had some strawberry milkshake and ice cream. Those 3 Grablets were the 30th happiest ever. Then suddenly 4, shouted Billy's mom. 4 little Grablets, all squeaky and wriggly. 5, squealed Billy's mom. Look, something wrong, said Billy. The 5th little Grablet wasn't squeaking at all. Billy's dad picked up the 5th little Grablet and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed. Finally, the 5th little Grablet started to wiggle, sniffle, and then he let out the tiniest little squeak. Hooray! We cheered. Joe came and see the Grablets too. That was when I realized I'm champion of the guess how many paps competition. Hooray! Grab is not impressed. He keeps trying to get Tully's attention, but Tully is busy with her babies. She's a mom now. I tell Grab she doesn't want to play. The Grablets keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Number 1 looks like Telly, said Billy. Let's call her Rosie. Number 5 looks like Grab. Let's call him Squeak. We want to keep them all. So, Squeak, Merv, Peppa, Tyke, and Rosie. I don't think Grab wants to keep any of them. Grab was just Telly back. He keeps mopping and huffing and puffing. The next morning, Telly leaped up from the puppies and ran outside. I think she could hear Grab in the garden. She was very good ear. She started woofing for Grab. Grab bounced into Billy's garden. He and Telly raced up and down, and then we brought the puppies outside. Telly and Grab jumped over pond spots, they jump over toys, and they even jump over the grablets. It's just like old times. They're happy. And, oh my gosh, anong ginawa mo? Saya ko. Wala na. The end na yun. Pero, my gosh, anak ko. Anong nangyari? Ba't mo dinikit? Wala na eh. But 5 times better. The end. Okay, let's read Adventure in the Jungle. Mr. Man, Little Miss. Mr. Dizzy had gone for a walk in the woods with all his friends. But the further Mr. Dizzy led his friends into the woods, the more lost he became. And then he came to a fork in the path, and Mr. Dizzy could not remember which way to go. Should he take the left fork, or should he take the right one? Or should he take the right one? But the right one might be the wrong one, so he turned left. He and his friends walked and walked and walked, and then they walked some more. The further they walked, the denser the woods became. I don't think this is the woods anymore, said Little Miss Wise. I think this is a jungle. What makes you think that? Asked Mr. Dizzy. Because that is a gorilla, yelled Mr. Jelly, quivering in fright. Yes, elephant. And there is an elephant, cried Little Miss Sunshine. And that is a tiger, pointed out Mr. Strong. Oh dear, said Mr. Dizzy, we're lost in the jungle. Suddenly, with an ear-splitting roar, the tiger punched. Mr. Strong leapt into its path, and the tiger harmlessly bounced of him. Running into Mr. Strong is like running into a brick wall. It hurts. The jungle was so thick, and the vines were so tangled, and tree roots grew so close together that it was very difficult to make any headway at all. It took all Mr. Strong's strength to forge a track through the jungle, and it was hot and steamy. Mr. Dizzy's head was in a spin. They must find a way home before it got dark, and then night fell. And it was not a very comfortable night for Mr. Dizzy and his friends. Yes, it was so noisy that they did not sleep a wink. Even Mr. Noisy thought it was too noisy. The frogs quacked, the crickets buzz, the insects click and chirp, and the bats squeak. Yoy. Things were no better in the morning. In fact, they were decidedly worse. A huge snake had wrapped its enormous coils around everyone. Mr. Jelly out a muffled shriek. Yeah, Mr. Tinkle. Mr. Tickle. It was Mr. Daydream who came to the rescue. He whistled softly, just like a flute, and slowly he began to charm the snake until it was so sleepy and relaxed that everyone was able to escape from its embrace. Yoy, kakatakot, no?
Yeah.
Everything is so big in the jungle, said little Miss Tiny. Even the butterflies are huge, but they are beautiful, added little Miss Sunshine. And look at the size of the flower, exclaimed Mr. Nosy. It's gigantic. I wonder what it smells like. Mr. Nosy stuck his long nose inside a huge flower. Ugh! He cried. It stinks. How are we ever going to get out of here, sighed Mr. Nosy. Little Miss Somersault glanced above her head. Look at the monkey swinging through the trees, she said. Now that's the way to travel. And she was right. Swinging from the vine to vine was much easier, although Mr. Tickle did not need the vines. Please stop it. If you don't like, I'll stop reading. Okay, can you name this one? Who's this?
Sunshine.
This one? Yeah. How about this? How about next? The red one? The red one.
Strong.
Yes, strong. How about the small one? Yes, tiny. How about the blue one? Okay. And the last one? Monkey. Next. Oh. They were traveling more quickly, but they were still lost. As lost as the lost city that they stumbled across. The city was a maze of passages, ways, and corridors, and steps that led down and stairs that led them up, with strange statues and ear carvings. They were well and truly lost in the lost city that was lost deep in the jungle in the middle of nowhere. They were lost. Okay, next.
Mama, my arm's getting red. I don't like it.
Okay, do not scratch. In the middle of the lost city, it was a temple. If we climb the temple, when we might see where we are, suggested little Miss Wise. The view was magnificent. From the top they could see for miles and miles in all directions. They were not far from a river that would lead them out of the jungle. Next. Oh my gosh, there's a... On the river bank, they found some dug-out canoes and began their journey home, paddling down in the river. There are a lot of logs on this river, observed Mr. Dizzy. Those are not logs, they are crocodiles, shrieked Mr. Jolly, quivering and wobbling. He quivered and wobbled so much that he overturned his canoe splosh. Help! He shrieked as a large crocodile swam towards him with his mouth wide open, showing his crooked yellow teeth. Yoy. Next. Luckily, Mr. Jolly had been sharing his canoe with Mr. Noisy. Mr. Noisy opened his mouth as wide as the crocodile's mouth and let out an ear-splitting shout. It was as loud as a train roaring through a tunnel. It was as loud as a jumbo jet taking off. It was as loud as a pneumatic drill in the telephone box. The crocodile leaped clear out of the water in fright and turned tail, frantically trying to swim away from his terrifying noise. Mr. Noisy grind the big grind, and he and Mr. Jelly climbed back into their canoe. It was a long paddle, but they did find a way back home. It was much cooler at home and quieter. Quieter. And the insects were smaller. And there were no tangled roots to trip them up.
Mr. Dizzy Jelly.
And there were no dangerous animals that might eat them. What a relief, Mr. Dizzy. Sabi ni Mr. Dizzy, what a relief. Oh, there's a bunny. And there's bunnies, butterfly, and the bird.
Ladybug.
Saan yung ladybug?
In the flower.
And the flower? Yeah. Ladybug. And there's another one. A bee. Kay Mr. Strong.
And also a tree.
Yeah, so that's... there's last.
The trap.
And somewhere a very long way away, deep in the jungle, a number of wild animals also breathed a collective sigh of relief. The end. That's the end of the story. Now let's read The Two Bears and Joe. One morning, when Joe woke up, there were two bears in his room. His mother couldn't see the bears, and his father couldn't see the bears. Joe and the bears played bear games with the bedclothes, and then his mother said, "That's enough messing about, Joe. It's time for breakfast." Next, Joe shared his breakfast with the bears. There was a black bear and there was a brown bear. The bear sat under the table and made growly noises. Joe's mother still couldn't see the bears until she could hear them. "Not so much noise, Joe, please, and don't keep dropping your toes on the floor," she said. "Now what?" said the brown bear. "Now whatever you like," said Joe. "We like climbing trees," said the black bear. "There isn't a tree in my house," said Joe. "Yes." "Oh, yes, there is," said the bears. "Look, race you to the top." They climb and they jump and they slide and they swung. Sometimes Joe caught the bears and sometimes the bears caught Joe. And then from far away and down below they heard someone calling. "What are you doing, Joe?" said Joe's father. Oh, said the bears. "Trouble. Put away the tree quick." "And where on earth have all those leaves come from, I'd like to know," said Joe's father. "Oops, the brown bear. He nearly saw us then. Tell you what, We need some snow now. No snow in this house, said Joe. Oh, yes, there is, said the black bear. Feel. Ooh. They whoosh and they whomp in the snow, and they slithered and they slipped. Joe pushed the bears over, and the bears pushed Joe over. And then from miles and miles away they heard someone calling. What are you doing, Joe? Said his mother. Oh, said the bears. Better roll up the snow, quick. Joe's mother said, it's time for lunch, Joe. I wonder why it feels so cold in here. At lunchtime, the bears hid under the table again. Has she seen us? Said the brown bear. Not yet, said Joe. And he gave the bears some of his lunch. We like you, said the bears. I like you back, said Joe. What shall we do this afternoon? This afternoon we'll go fishing in the river, said the black bear. No fishing here, said Joe. No river. Oh, yes, there is, said the brown bear.
Mama,
Jump
I
in.
can't hold it for long. I don't like it.
Wait. They splash and they splash and they dip and they dive. They didn't catch any fish. But they had a good time. And then from over the hills and beyond the trees they heard someone calling. What are you doing, Joe? Said his father. Quick, pour away the rivers, said the black bear. And why are there wet floors? Wet footmarks all over the floor, said Joe's father. Uh-oh, said the brown bear. He's going to see us. Quick, hide in the cave. Just where are you off to, Joe? Said his father. But Joe was deep down in the bear's cave, with the black bear and the brown bear. Yes, that's brown bear. Yes, it was snug and dark and earthy in the cave. They hid and they bounced and they bowed and they bounced, and then from far away and up above in the world they heard someone calling. Where are you, Joe? Said his mother. It's time for bed. Go to now, said Joe. See you another day. See you another day, said the bears. So Joe come up from the cave and his mother said, There you are. Wherever have you been? And who were you talking to? Nowhere really, said Joe. Nobody really. And how did you get so dirty? Said his mother. Can't remember, said Joe. He had a specially long bath, scrubbed his face and his hands and his fur and his paws until he was as clean could be. And then he went to bed and slept as sound as a bear in a cave. The end. That's the end of the story. Okay. Let's read my Bible ABC. Yeah, your Bible. Yeah. A is for ark. Ark. In Genesis 6-7, an ark is like the big boat that God told Noah to build. Noah was blameless and righteous in the eyes of God. The Lord decided to destroy the earth by sending a great flood because the people on earth had become more evil in their behavior. Okay, wait, listen. Yeah, A is for ark. Ark. So let's continue. Let's continue. Noah and his family entered the ark together with all the animals which God has commanded Noah to bring. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and the earth was flooded for 150 days. Do not do like that kasi, anak, please. Next, letter B. B is for basket. Basket. Okay, please, Isaiah, listen. And yes, that's the baby inside the basket. That's Miriam. Miriam. Okay, B is for basket in Exodus 2:1-10. During the time of Moses' birth, there was a decree from the Pharaoh to kill all the male babies born of Hebrew women. In order to save Moses, his mother and sister places him in a basket and hid it among the reeds along the river Nile. When Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe in the river, she saw the basket and the baby Moses. Miriam, the sister of Moses, offered to get a nurse for the baby. When he got older, Moses was given back to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. So this is Miriam, and there's the baby Moses. Okay, C is for cross. Cross. In Matthew 27:32-44, Jesus was taken to a place called Golgotha and was nailed on the cross. Above him was a sign which says, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." However, the story of the cross didn't just end in Jesus' death. It has a purpose and a very important meaning for all of us. Colossians 2:13-14 state that, "But God now brought you to life with Christ. God forgave us all our sins. He concealed the unfavorable record of our debts with its binding rules, and it did it away by nailing it into the cross." Jesus loves you, anak. Next, letter D. Donkey. Oh my gosh, what happened? Who colored this one? Donkey. In Matthew 21:1-11, D is for donkey. Donkey. When Jesus and his disciples were about to enter Jerusalem, he asked two of his disciples to go to a village and get him a donkey. The disciples went and got the donkey, placed their cloaks on it, and Jesus sat on them. As they approached Jerusalem, the crowd spread their cloaks the road, while others cut branches from the trees and then of the streets. My gosh. Next, E is for Eve. Eve. In Genesis. No, please. Okay, letter E. Eve. Genesis 2:15-25. Yeah, please, can you please put it back? Sige, you read.
Eve.
Yeah, that's Eve. Okay, listen. Eve was the first woman created by God as a suitable helper for Adam. One time, God caused Adam to fall asleep. While he was sleeping, God took one of his ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then God made a woman out of the part he had taken out from the man and brought her to him. Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all human beings. Next, F is for fish. Fish. F is for fish. Fish. Jonah Wine 1-17. The Lord told Jonah to go to the city of Nineveh and speak God's message to the people who had become wicked. However, Jonah refused to follow and ran away from the Lord. He found a ship and went abroad. Meanwhile, the Lord sent a violent storm that threatened the ship to break up. The sailors were afraid. And when they found out that Jonah was responsible for the storm, they threw him out of the ship. The Lord provided a great big fish that swallowed Jonah. He stayed inside the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Next, G is for goat. Goat. In Numbers 7, 1-17-23, Moses anointed and consecrated the tabernacle after it was being set up. He even anointed all its furnishings and utensils. The Lord told Moses that each of the leaders of Israel should bring his offering for the dedication of the altar. Some offered male goats to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. Yeah, goat. The tabernacle, also called the tent, became a portable place of worship for the people of God as they wandered in the desert for many years. Okay, next. H. H is for harp. Harp. H is for harp. Harp. 1 Samuel 16:14-23. When someone appointed David in the presence of his brothers, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him and empowered him. As for Saul, an evil spirit tormented him because the Spirit of the Lord departed from him. Saul told his servants to find someone who plays the harp well. One of the servants knew David and recommended him to the king. Therefore, whenever the evil spirit came on Saul, David would play his harp, and the king would feel better because the evil spirit would leave him. Next, I is for idol. Idol in Exodus 20:1-4. The Lord included in his 10 commandments not to make idols in the form of anything in heaven or on earth or in the waters below. The Lord also mentioned to his people neither to worship nor bow down to these idols because he is a jealous God and will bring punishment to those who will disobey him. God told this to Moses on Mount Sinai. Next is J is for jar. Jar. John 2:1-11. In the Bible times, a jar is a water container. Okay, there were 2, 4, 6 jars. Yes, okay. Let's continue muna, ha? Sige. In the Bible, a jar is a water container made of stone, used by the Jews for ceremonial washing. A wedding which took place in Cana ran out of wine. Jesus and his mother were invited to the wedding. Jesus' mother asked him if he could do something about the wine. Therefore, Jesus told the servants to get 6 jars and fill them with water. Then he told them to take some water out and take it to the man in charge of the feast. They took the water to him which had turned into wine, and they tasted the best wine ever. King. King. 1 Kings 2, 1-3 and 1 Kings 11, 7-13. Dito yung story ng king. An example of a great king in the Bible was King Solomon, son of David. Solomon had everything: wealth, power, and wisdom. God made Solomon an extraordinary wisdom which he used during his reign. However, something went wrong. Solomon's wife started to worship other gods. He also had other women who got involved in idol worship, until the king himself had also practiced worshiping false gods. The Lord got angry with King Solomon because his heart turned away from him. Next is letter L. Locust. Exodus 10, 1-15. Locusts or grasshoppers tend to settle in a grain field and destroy every sign of good crops. During Moses and Aaron's 9th visit to the Pharaohs, they told him that God would send a plague of locusts in the country if he still refused to let go of the Israelites. And God did, because Pharaoh still wouldn't let the Israelites go. The locusts covered all the ground until not any grain remained in the land of Egypt. Next is letter M. Manger. Luke 2, 1-20. Yes, M. God sent the angel Gabriel to a virgin named Mary to tell her that she found favor in God's sight and that she will give birth to the Son of the Most High. In Bethlehem. Yeah, okay. Wait lang ha. Let's continue. In Bethlehem, the time came for the baby to be born. Joseph, Mary's fiancé, took her to a room for animals because there was no room for them in the inn. Yeah, M is for manger. Mary gave birth to a son whom they called Jesus. She wrapped him in cloth and placed him in a manger. A manger is a feed box for sheep, goats, cow, or other animals. Yes. Next is letter N. Naomi. Naomi. Yes. Yeah, and Naomi. Okay. Yes. Okay. Listen na. Ruth 1, 1-22. Yes, that's house. Naomi, her husband and son, settled in the land of Moab for a while because there was a famine in Bethlehem. While staying there, Naomi's husband died, and about 10 years later, her 2 sons also died. Naomi was left in her 2 daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpha. She wanted them to go back to their families, but only Orpha went back home. Ruth decided to stay with Naomi. Ruth met a man named Boaz, a rich man who belonged to the family of her late husband. They got married and gave Naomi a grandson. Next, letter O. O is for Obadiah. Obadiah. Obadiah 1, 1 to 21. Obadiah was one of the minor prophets listed in the Old Testament. He neither preached to Judah nor Israel, but to the Edomites. Edom originated from Esau, the twin brother of Jacob, who was the founder of the nation of Israel. Moreover, just like the feud between the twin brothers, the fight between the Edomites and the Israelites existed. Obadiah predicted the fall of Edom and the rise of Israel nation. It only showed God's continuous protection for his people against its enemies.
Whoa.
Next is P. P is for pilot.
He's
P,
not
P,
nice.
pilot. Pilot.
He's
Ay, yan na, not like that.
good.
Wait lang. Matthew 27:11 to 26. When Jesus was arrested, Pilate was then the governor of Judea. The priests and the elders of the people led Jesus to him for trial. At first, Pilate couldn't find reason for a charge against Jesus, but the crowd created an uproar that made Pilate grant their demand. A man named Barabbas, who was a murderer, was released, and Jesus was handed to the people to be crucified.
What does it say?
Okay,
What does it
that's
say?
can you read? Okay. Can you spell it or sound? Okay. Sige. This one? This one muna This one. Jesus.
Jesus.
Daughter.
Go.
King.
King.
Next.
What?
Juice.
Juice.
And last. Pilot.
Pilot.
Next is letter Q. Quail. Ala, yung pinag-color mo na naman before. I think you color this one nung nasa old house kasi tayo.
Yeah.
Tingnan mo, black na black. Parang hindi na siya Q. So,
It's
Q
okay.
is for quail.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's okay. There's improvement, man. Exodus 16, 1 to 13. During the Israelites' journey in the desert, the whole community grumbled against Aaron and Moses. They were demanding for more food because, according to them, in Egypt, they can eat all kinds of food they wanted. The Lord sent bread from heaven and told the people to gather only enough for a day. In that way, he could test his people if they would follow his instructions. The Lord also sent quails, which covered the whole camp, that served as their food during the evening. Next is R is for rainbow. Rainbow. Remember Noah in the great rainbow in Genesis 9, 1 to 17. Remember Noah in the great flood. God blessed Noah and his family and was pleased with them because they obeyed him and followed his commands. After the water had dried up, the Lord told Noah to come out to the boat and multiply. Then God established his covenant with Noah and his descendants and with all the living creatures to never again will a flood destroy the earth. God set the rainbow in the clouds which will serve. Yeah. God set the rainbow in the clouds which will serve as the sign of the everlasting covenant between God and all the living creatures of every kind on the earth. And letter S. S is for Samaritan.
I said Mita.
Yes.
said Mita.
Luke 10:30-35. Jesus told a parable about a Samaritan. The story started when robbers attacked a man who was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. They beat him, got all his clothes, and ran away. A priest who was passing by ignored the helpless man. Another came along, a Levite, and did not offer any help to the poor man either. However, a Samaritan came by, and when he saw the beaten man, he took pity on him. The Samaritan did everything he could to help and save the man. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Ay, last nga. T is for tomb. Tomb. John 11:17-44. A tomb is a place of burial. In the Bible times, tombs were located inside the caves with a stone laid across the entrance. A friend of Jesus named Lazarus was sick and eventually died. Lazarus had two sisters, Mary and Martha. Mary told Jesus that if he could have been there earlier, their brother would not have died. Jesus found out that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. He was deeply moved. As he came to the tomb, he told some men to remove the stone from the cave's entrance. Jesus looked up, and after saying some words to his father, he commanded Lazarus to come out. Lazarus came out of the tomb, and Jesus asked some men to remove the grave clothes from him and let him. I'll stop na. Ayaw nyo na? Ha? U is for universe. Universe. Oh, universe. Genesis 1:2. The book of Genesis tells us about the creation of the universe. When God began to create the universe, everything was in total darkness. When God commanded, "Let there be light," and light appeared. Then he wanted to separate day from night. So he made 2 larger lights, the sun to rule over the day and the moon to rule over the night. He also made the stars. He placed the lights in the sky to shine on the earth, to rule over the day and night, and to separate the light from darkness. Next is V is for vineyard. Vineyard. Nag-i-sleepy na si Matthew 21:33-44. A vineyard is like a garden. Yes, so listen. A vineyard is like a garden full of vines which produces grapes. It has a wall around it and a watchtower to protect it from animals and robbers. Jesus told of another parable, the parable of the tenants. A landowner planted a vineyard, then he rented it to some farmers and went on a trip. When harvest time came, he sent his servants to get his share. Instead of giving his share, the tenants killed the servants. The landowner sent more of his servants, but the tenants also killed them. Sleep na si Ice. Oh my gosh, snoring Ice. Wait lang na. Last of all, he sent his son to them, thinking that his tenants would respect him, but the tenants also killed his son. Jesus asked them that if the owner of the land comes back, what would he do to those tenants? Therefore, they said that the landowner would have to rent the vineyard to other tenant who will give him his share of the crop at harvest time. Jesus concluded that the kingdom of God would be given to the people who will truly serve him. And Isaiah, sleep na. It's okay, it's okay. Sige, sleep ka na, sleep ka na. Do not do like that, anak. Sige, sleep na. Wait lang, anak, ha? Okay. Wala, nagtago na yun. Sleep na si Ice Ice, nagtago na. Okay, wait muna, anak, ah. W is for wait. Saan na ba tayo? W. Wagon. Wagon. That's wagon. Genesis 45:19-28. As Joseph finally revealed himself to his brothers, they were terrified and could not speak. He told them that God sent him to Egypt to save people's lives. As they all wept and embarrassed each other, the Pharaoh was pleased of the news that Joseph was reunited with his brothers. He told Joseph that his family should settle in Egypt while there is famine, and he will provide them with the best of the land. Therefore, the Pharaoh gave them wagons which they could use to bring their families and their father to Egypt. A wagon is a vehicle with wheels and was used for carrying people and goods from one place to another. Next is letter X. Ituloy natin kahit natulog na yung ating natulog na si Ice. Listen na, Ayana. X is Xerxes. King Xerxes. X Xerxes. In Esther 1:9-22. King Xerxes, who was also known as King Ahasuerus, had a wife named Queen Vashti. She didn't want to obey King Xerxes. That's why the king got angry with her and divorced her. King Xerxes declared a search for a new queen. Esther, who had not revealed her nationality, won the favor of everyone who saw her and was taken to the king. Esther won the king's favor, and so the crown was set on her and made her the new queen. Next, Y. Y is for yoke. 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 In Numbers 19:1-14, the story is a yoke is a wooden bar that holds the neck of two animals such as oxen as they pull together a cart or a plow. When the Lord told Moses and Aaron the requirements of the law, he wanted the Israelites to bring a heifer without blemish, and that has never been put under a yoke. During the Old Testament times, an animal which has been placed under a yoke is considered unclean, and therefore cannot be used as an offering. And last, letter Z. Z is for Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus. We can find also the story in Luke 19:1-10. As Jesus was entering Jericho, a wealthy tax collector named Zacchaeus wanted to see who Jesus was. The problem was he was very short and could not see Jesus as he passed through the crowd. He climbed up a tree, and when Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and told Zacchaeus to come down, for he wanted to stay at his house. Zacchaeus went down and welcomed Jesus gladly. He promised Jesus that he would return the money of anyone he has cheated and he would give half of his possessions to the poor. For Jesus said the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost. The end. Thank you for listening.
Look at this.
And Ice sleep na.
It's on my finger.
Yeah. We have the top trumps play discover baby animals. Okay.
Guess what is this? It's a rabbit.
That's a rabbit.
Yeah.
Kitten, that are the baby animals. All of these are baby animals. Wait,
Yeah.
we will read the trivia. Did you know baby bunnies known as kittens are born without fur? Next, elephant. We call them calf. Did you know a baby elephant is called a calf and stands just under 1 meter tall? Next, oh, it's owl. We call them fledgling. Did you know a group of owls is called a parliament? Next, oh, cute, a cat. We call them kitten. Did you know all kittens are born with blue eyes? Next, goat. We call them kid. Did you know goats don't have teeth in their upper jaw? Next. Naku, why did you write na naman yung your hands? Next is a giant panda. That's a cab. Did you know panda cubs are born pink without fur or sight? The other one, you use the other one na lang, okay? No, it's okay. This is nice. Yeah. Thank you. Next is Labrador Puppy. Did you know some Labrador breeds have webbed feet to help them swim better? Next, gorilla. We call them infant. Did you know baby gorillas spend the first few months of their lives on their mother's backs? Next, American bison. We call them calf. Bison don't get their horns or a hump until they are 2 or 3 years old. Next, zebra. We call them fowl. Did you know every zebra has different black and white stripes so they can recognize each other? Galing. Next, pug. Puppy. Did you know pugs sleep for about 14 hours a day? Next, lion. We call them cub. Did you know lions are the only cats that lived in groups? Next, oh, giraffe. We call them calf. Did you know giraffe calves become fully grown between the ages of 3 and 6 years old? Next is rhino. We call them calf also. Did you know rhinos love to get muddy as it protects their skin from sunlight and bug bites? Next is Shetland pony. We call them foal. Shetland, did you know Shetland ponies can pull twice their own weight? That's stronger than most horses. Next. Just one by one. Polar bear, we called also them a cub. Did you know, although they look white, polar bears actually have black skin? Next, please. A deer, we call them fawn. Did you know very few female deer grow antlers? Next, grizzly bear, we call them cub. Did you know grizzly bears are born blind and without any fur? They need constant care to survive.
Mama.
Llama, we call them crea. Did you know baby llamas are called creas? Creas. They can walk and feed just 1 hour after being born. Next, seal. We call them pup. Did you know seals' rear flippers point backwards to help them swim? Next is sheep. We call them lamb. Lambs can walk minutes after they are born. Next is hippopotamus. They call them calf, the baby animals. So did you know hippos have eyes, ears, and a nose on top of their heads in order to see while in water? Next, Alsatian puppy. Did you know Alsatians are also known as German Shepherd dogs? Next, please. White tiger, we call them cub. Did you know white tigers are very rare in the wild? Only 1 in every 10,000 tigers is white. Oh, really? Next, camel, they call them calf. Did you know a camel's hump does not store water? It actually stores fat. Talaga?
Where's fun?
Duck. Dito daw sa hump niya yan. Next is duck. Duckling. Did you know ducklings start to swim almost as soon as they are born? Wow. Next, kangaroo. We call them joey. Did you know joeys live inside pouches that are part of their mommy's tummies for up to a year? Next is guinea pig. We call them pup. Did you know guinea pigs can sleep with their eyes open? Amazing. Next.
How do you wake up? Sleep?
They wake up like this. Okay, next is ostrich. We call them chick. Did you know the ostrich is the world's largest bird?
Mama, you say
Next,
when
please.
it's finished.
Yeah, next please. And lastly is squirrel monkey. Infant. We call them infant. Did you know squirrel monkeys' tails are used to help balance when climbing on high tree branches? The end.
Next.
Next is Arctic animals. Can you please flip it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Arctic woolly bear caterpillar. These caterpillars spend most of their time frozen solid, only defrosting in summer to eat. Grabe. Please, next.
I'm gonna flip.
Next is Arctic wolf. Arctic wolves have a double coat of fur to keep warm. Next, please.
Upside down. Because it's
Bald
upside
eagle.
down.
Why it's upside down?
Because like this, you
Okay.
big.
Bald eagle. Bald eagle's wings can span more than 2 meters. Next is Canada lynx. Canada lynx have really wide toes to stop them sinking in the snow. Next, beluga whale. Beluga whales have flexible necks so they can turn their heads in all directions. Next is wolverine. Wolverines may look like bears, but they are actually part of the weasel family. Next, wood frog. Wood frogs are the only frogs that live north of the Arctic Circle. Wow, narwhal. Narwhal's long tusks can help them detect prey. Galing. Next, walrus. Walruses are very heavy, weighing up to 900 kilograms, about the weight of a small car. Very heavy.
I don't know.
Yes, next is Canada goose. Canada geese have zigzag beaks so they can bite through tough grass. And lemmings do not hibernate. They spend the winter running in tunnels underground. Snow goose. Snow geese can walk, fly, swim, and dive, but spend most of their time eating and resting. Wow. Next is snowy
I
owl.
don't like this.
Snowy owls' feet are covered with layer of fluffy feathers like slippers for insulation. Arctic fox. Yet, Arctic foxes have the warmest fur of any Arctic animal. Talaga. Ermine. Ermines have very sharp claws so they can dig and climb trees. Musk ox. Musk oxen use their hooves to dig through snow to find plants to eat. Arctic squaw. Arctic squaws steal most of their food from other animals. Next, birded seal. Birded seals can swim just hours after they are born. Wow. Oh, that's awesome. Next, snowshoe hare. Snowshoe hares have large, furry feet to help them move on top of snow. Mammoth. Mammoths still roamed the Arctic less than 4,000 years ago, but they're now extinct. Reindeer. Reindeer have noses that hit the air, so it isn't too cold when they breathe in. Arctic tern. Arctic terns can fly really far, often from one side of the world to the other. Oh, puffin. Puffins spend most of their lives out at sea resting on the waves. Polar bear. Polar
Oh, no.
bears. It's okay.
Alright.
Polar bears clean themselves by rolling in the snow. Ribbon seal. Ribbon seals are named after the white ribbons of color around their bodies. Doll sheep. You can count the rings on the doll sheep's horns to see how old it is. Oh, Hamburg quail. Hamburg quails don't live in the Arctic all year round. They only visit these cool waters in the summer. Grizzly bear. Grizzly bear. Female grizzly bears often give birth to twins in winter. Sea otter. Sea otters sleep on water, wrapping themselves in seaweed so they don't float away. And lastly, Arctic moose. Arctic moose shed the outer layer of their antlers every winter. The end. Next, we have safari animals. Leopard. Did you know leopard spots are called rosettes because they are shaped a bit like roses? Next, cheetah. Did you know cheetahs cannot roar but purr like domestic cats? Water buffalo. Did you know although they eat grass, water buffalo never stray more than 12 miles from water? King cobra. Did you know king cobras are the only snakes that build nests for their eggs? Next, zebra. Did you know zebras sleep standing up but only when they are in large groups? Oh, talaga. Crocodile. Did you know crocodiles have the strongest bite of any land animal? Sharp teeth ang crocodile. African wild dog. Did you know African wild dogs make decisions with their nose by sneezing? Ooh. Lilac-breasted roller. Both male and female lilac-breasted rollers have the same beautiful colors. Baboon. Did you know baboons have a bottom of hairless, thickened skin that provides a comfortable cushion? Toppy. Did you know Toppies like to rub their heads on the ground to spread their scent and mark their territory. Next, waterback. Waterbacks have distinctive white ring marks on their bottoms. Next, rhino. Did you know, for such large mammals, rhinos have very small brains? OMG. Meerkat. Meerkat. Meerkats catch scorpions to eat by quickly removing their venomous stingers. Hippopotamus. Did you know, although they spend most of their time in water, hippos cannot swim? Smurf bag. Smurf bags reach up to 3 centimeters long and are usually blue or green. Black mamba. Black mambas are fast for a snake. They use their speed to escape threats, not to hunt. Giraffe. Did you know giraffes have hairy tongues? This helps them eat from thorny acacia trees. Cockroach. Did you know cockroach can live for up to a week without its head? OMG. Hyena. Did you know hyenas' back legs are shorter than their front legs? Okay. Next is great hornbill. Great hornbills can eat around 150 figs in a single meal. Gosh. Next is warthog. Warthogs prefer to live in burrows made but left by other animals like aardvarks. Lion. Did you know the roar of a lion can be heard up to 5 miles away? Elephant. Elephants' tusks are used to dig for food and strip bark from trees. Next, white stork. Did you know storks are heavy and cannot fly far? By fluffing their wings, they glide instead. Next, scorpion. Just like spiders, scorpions have 8 legs. They sting prey with the tips of their tails. Next, gazelle. Madame Gazelle. Gazelle. Gazelles are very fast, sociable animals with strong senses of smell, hearing, and sight. Next is wildebeest. Did you know up to 1.5 million wildebeest migrate once a year in search for fresh grass to eat? Next, impala. Impalas are fleet runners who can jump long distances and up to 3 meters high. Wala na. Oh my gosh. Next, we have also the sea animals. This is a game, pairs. We called it pairs memory game. So we have seahorse. We have great white shark. Lionfish. Vampire squid. Giant manta ray. Hello, dugong. California sea lion. Stargazer fish. Starfish. We have also penguin. Coral reef. Giant Pacific octopus. Jellyfish. Gray seal. And last, giant Japanese spider crab. Ito yung favorite namin na nilalaro as a family. Pairs para makaanong aming bunso, and they're enjoying, lalo na yung aming bunso. Mahilig sa mga animals. Actually, memorize na niya lahat ito. And we're happy kasi talagang memory game talaga siya. Memory game. These are the sea animals, creatures. Sea creatures. Thank you. The end. Today we have also the kinds of bugs and insects. Bugs and insects. So we have cockroach. Did you know cockroaches hate light and only come out at night? That's cockroach. Next, we have crane. It's not crane. Crane fly. Daddy long legs. Daddy long legs can curl up their entire body to play dead to avoid being eaten. Ganun. Next, we have Scarlet Lily Beetle. Oh, it's a beetle. Did you know lily beetles are red just like ladybirds? They even lay round reddish-orange eggs. Ay, ito pala yun. I remember my best friend and I saw many like that eggs and were scared. Next, we have small white butterfly. Did you know butterflies have their skeletons on the outside? This is called an exoskeleton. Exoskeleton. Next, we have grasshopper. Did you know a grasshopper can jump very far as its back legs act like catapults? Next, we have cricket. Did you know male crickets make sounds to attract females? Kaya pala, they're so maingay. Next, we have, wow, red Admiral Butterfly. Did you know butterflies cannot fly if they are too cold? Ooh, wood loose. Woodlice have 14 legs, and some species are able to curl into a ball. Ito yung nakita ko sa ano. Next, we have earthworm. Did you know every earthworm is both male and female? They also have no eyes. Next, wow, bumblebee. Did you know bees are the only insect in the world that make food that people can eat? Yeah, and I love honey. Oh, ladybird. Did you know, depending on the species, ladybirds can have stripes, spots, or no markings at all? Okay. Next, Stog Beetle. The Stog Beetle's favorite meal is rotting wood. Oh my gosh, rotting wood. Hornet. Unlike bees and wasps, hornets usually fly at night. Okay, ganun. Shield bug. Did you know shield bugs are often called stink bugs? Due to the smell they make when they are disturbed. Caterpillar. Did you know caterpillars begin changing into butterflies by eating their own eggshell? Amazing talaga. Stick insect. We called it kawayan. Did you know stick insects have long, slim bodies perfect for hiding in their forest habitat? Tama, hindi sila makikita. Wasp. Wasp, did you know, unlike bees, wasps can sting over and over again? Next, we have slug. Did you know a slug uses chemicals in its slime to find its way home? Wow, ganun. Next, earwig. Did you know earwigs like to live in damp, shady places? Dragonfly. Did you know dragonflies don't find food on the ground and only eat while in the air? Wow. Centipede. Did you know the legs at the front of a centipede are not used for walking, but for catching food. Wow, spider! Spider, did you know most spiders have 8 eyes? OMG, I thought 8 legs lang. Millipede. Millipede pala to. Marami tong ganito sa Baguio. Sa Baguio. In Benguet. Did you know millipedes were the first animals to live on land about 428 million years ago? Next, silverfish. Did you know silverfish have existed for 400 million years? They're older than dinosaurs. Oh, parang nakita ko na. Ganun. Oh, snail. Snails are slimy as it helps them move along surfaces. Mosquito. Did you know only female mosquitoes bite humans? Ganon. So, basta may nangagat pala sa inyo, female mosquito siya. Ants. Did you know ants don't have ears but listen by feeling vibrations on the ground with their feet? Kakaiba rin siya. Unique. Scorpion. Did you know scorpions can survive underwater for up to 2 days? Ano ba naman? Pangit yung pangalan. Devil's flower mantis. Did you know the mantis is hard to spot in the wild as it looks like a flower? Oo nga. And lastly, may zebra spider pala. Zebra spider. Clear ba siya? Did you know zebra spiders can jump up to 10 centimeters to catch their prey? The end. Next, we have Illumination presents Minions, The Rise of Guru. Top drums play this cover, so let's start. Stewardess Bob, please sit down comfortably. Buckle up and wee. Di ako mahilig sa Minions, pero this one is Happy Bob. The only thing Bob loves more than patches is more patches. Carl. Dami pala nila. Carl may not be the best speaker, but someone has to shout out when a job is well done. Kung Fu Bob. Bob is a sweet and gentle minion who would never hurt a fly. Phil. Phil can be a little accident-prone, but underneath his clumsiness, he's a fun-loving friend. That's Phil. Oh my gosh. Next, Daisy Josh. Gru might be Daisy's Josh boss, but he has one true master, the turntable. Stuart. Stuart is the confident one-eyed minion in the group who loves to dance. Kung Fu Stuart. Rebellious Stuart learns to channel his hot temper into cool skills. Roller Skating Stuart. When Stuart slides and glides across the roller rink floor, he gets lost in a disco flow and positive vibes. Pilot Stuart. Stuart will try and make sure you enjoy the fight with Minion Air, so relax and have fun with the Minion crew. Young Gru. Gru creates mischief with his minions and dreams of becoming the world's greatest supervillain. We have Master Chow. Need an acupuncturist. Master Chow to the rescue. Next, Wild Knuckles. In the past, Wild Knuckles was the world's greatest villain, so he knows every trick in the book. Next, we have Kevin, Bob, and Stuart. Kevin, Bob, and Stuart together means a whole lot of fun and trouble. Next, we have the Vicious Six. The Vicious Six are the most powerful team of supervillains in the world. Minion Tribe. Ang dami ba? The whole tribe is happiest when Gru is around. So when he's not there, they turn to selling kitchenware for his mom. Stuart, Otto, and Bab. Stuart, Otto, and Bab have combined forces. Now it's one for all and all for one banana. Bob. Bob is cute and innocent, and he's the first to volunteer for a mission. Next is Dave. Dave is a smart and fearless minion who loves theme parties. Next, Stronghold. Stronghold, with his giant iron hands, Stronghold looks strong, but he cannot pick up small things. Bell bottom. Bell values money and power over loyalty. She wears a groovy chain belt with a hidden secret. You have also Kevin. Kevin often takes on the role of leader of the Minions tribe in order to accomplish a mission. We have Pilot Kevin. Pilot Kevin feel that gentle, easily glide, relax, and try not to worry that Kevin has no idea how to land his plane. Hippie Kevin. Kevin dons a wig and glasses to blend in. Next, Minion Sales Lady. Minions can be master of disguise, but they don't need an excuse to look good. Next, Seven Gens. Seven Gens? Seven Gens is a Swedish roller skating champion who uses his speed to chase after his enemies. Next, we have Kung Fu Kevin. Kevin has to learn to find his inner beast on a mission to save Gru. Nunchuck. Although she looks humble, Nunchuck is a fierce warrior who is skilled with her prize nunchucks. Next is Otto. Otto is the newest member of the group. He is chatty, friendly, and wears braces. Lastly, Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude and his giant lobster, Claw, are out for revenge. That's all. And thank you. Thank you so much for watching. These are the minions. Yan palang mga minions. Next, we have the different kinds of dinosaurs. We have Styracosaurus. Did you know Styrax is the ancient Greek word for the tip of a spear, just like this dinosaur's horn? Oo nga. Next, we have Velociraptor. Did you know Velociraptor means speedy thief? This dinosaur captured its prey with its claws. Ang sharp yung mga claws nila. Next, we have Diplodocus. Did you know Diplodocus was the longest of the dinosaurs, almost as long as the width of a football pitch. Next, we have Corythosaurus. Corythosaurus, did you know? The Corythosaurus had a hollow crest on its head used to blow a hooting noise. Next, we have Giganotosaurus. Did you know this meat eater and the T-Rex live about 20 million years apart? That's Giganotosaurus. Next, we have Megalosaurus. Did you know the Megalosaurus was about the same size as a rhino and could run up to 30 miles per hour? Next, we have the Morphodon. Did you know that the Morphodon was named after its two different sizes of teeth? And we have Barosaurus. Did you know Barosaurus means heavy lizard, but their neck bones were light and hollow. Next, we have Hypsilophodon. Did you know many Hypsilophodon skeletons have been found on the Isles of Wight? Next, we have Gallimimus. Did you know the Gallimimus had a tiny brain about the same size as a golf ball? Gallimimus. Next, we have Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx. Did you know these dinosaurs had beaks filled with teeth, wings with claws, and a bony tail? Next, we have Pachyrhinosaurus. Pachyrhinosaurus. Did you know the prehistoric Pachyrhinosaurus lived in the areas we now call Canada and Alaska? Next, we have Triceratops. Did you know the Triceratops needed its 3 horns to fight off the T-Rex, which lived at the same time? Next, we have Mayasaura. Did you know the Mayasaura lived in herds of up to 10,000 animals? Next, we have Centrosaurus. Did you know the Centrosaurus lived in herds of up to 10,000 animals? Next, we have Centrosaurus. Did you know the Centrosaurus lived in herds of up to 10,000 animals? Next, we have Centrosaurus. Did you know the Centrosaurus lived in herds of up to 10,000 animals? Next, we have Did you know the colorful frills on the Centrosaurus were used to attack partners, not fighting? Next, we have Heterodontosaurus. Heterodontosaurus. Did you know the Heterodontosaurus had a beak and could eat meat or vegetables? Next, we have Oviraptor. Did you know Oviraptor would lay up to 20 eggs and guard them with care? Next, we have Brachiosaurus. Did you know Brachiosaurus was a giant dinosaur that weighed about the same as 30 cars? Bigat talaga. Next, we have Pentaseraptors. Did you know Pentaseraptors means 5 horns? This dinosaur was around 3 meters high. Next, we have Colophysis. Did you know at 2 meters tall, the Colophysis was a bird like dinosaur, as tall as some humans? Next, we have Protoceraptors. Did you know Protoceraptors wasn't very clever, but worked together in herds? Next, we have Leophorodon. Did you know the Leophorodon was one of the most powerful underwater predators that ever lived? And here comes the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Did you know? King of the dinosaurs, the T-Rex was meat eater that roamed over 65 million years ago. Next is we have Herrerasaurus. Herrerasaurus, did you know? The Herrerasaurus was a fearsome creature with dozens of sharp, jagged teeth. Next, we have Iguanodon. Did you know, like Iguanodon ate leafy bushes at ground level? And we have Sochomimus. Sochomimus means crocodile, and this creature was named this due to the shape of its nose. Tingnan natin yung nose niya. Ba't siya blurry? Ganun. Next, we have Stagosaurus. Did you know? The Stagosaurus had plates on its back like roof tiles. Oo nga. And that's the kind of dinosaurs. So the king of the dinosaurs is the T-Rex. Yan. Tyrannosaurus Rex. T-Rex. Thanks for watching.